Hey, we're live. I don't do that countdown anymore. Too many people have been doing that countdown thing from StreamYard. Good morning. It's Spence. I'm going to do my little double check here, make sure everything is set up properly. Let me just double check also on the sound. And as folks will start to roll in, as they always do, please give me a little help with the mic check. I'm going to do a quick little hear myself. Yes. Echo aside. Today is it's going to be an interesting hybrid. I had a nice interview yesterday with Jamie Marsland from Poodle Press about the future of WordPress. Today I want to talk a little old school because it really comes to mind that today, this week, this year in general, more than ever, old school is new school. I'm old enough, as you guys know. I was around when Moses was in junior high school, to remember that we didn't have the technology, but we had the motivation, we had the time. We were fully undistracted by the world to invent ways to solve pain points for people and make money. And so what occurs to me is I had a couple things that I posted in social media this week of a Gen X dad in the car with his son. And the son is a teenager who's just incredulous that the father should dare to suggest that he go around and do a paper route or shovel the sidewalk of his neighbors, or, any of the things that were standard fare for a 14-year-old, 15-year-old back in 70s, early 80s. Today, we have so many technological things. When I was speaking with Jamie Marsland yesterday, he suggested, which I thought was fantastic, that at least one, maybe several of his daughters were interested in going full-time into his YouTube channel, and that they were monetized already, which, if you think about it, it's like a fairy tale come true. Because let's talk about, if you take motivation combined with opportunity, you've got success. It's kind of like there's a formula: idea times execution equals success. If you have a 0 on the idea, no amount of execution is ever going to help. If you have the best idea, if you have the worst idea and the best execution, never work. If you have the worst idea and the best execution, it'll never work. There has to be a positive value on at least one of those, and your goal is to bump them up as high as possible. So the best idea with the best execution is at the top right corner of the chart. Good morning, Donna. She had a paper route as well. Hi, good morning. My first job, by the way, let's just do it old school. Back in those days, they wouldn't really allow you a job until you were 14, and I worked at the local McDonald's. Very proud to be on the grill. The dream job was to get to the cash register, but the second dream beyond the grill was to get to the fries. So just think about it in the let's see, I was born in 66. So in 1979, 80-ish, they let a 14-year-old in front of a 600-degree vat of boiling oil. But today, kids seem to have trouble being allowed to walk to school unsupervised. Things have to change. Okay, so back to my point. If you think about it, the abundance of all of the technology, and Donna and I actually, I'm glad you're here this morning, Donna, of course. Donna and I have had a conversation about this as well. The technology can act as a distraction from what a great idea could be. It can be a distraction from what a simple execution could be. I'll give you another metaphor, especially now, because I'm going to talk about like personal motivation. But since I have some time to be around the house, and my youngest son is still in the house, he's 13 this year, he just turned 13. We like to watch a lot of Chicago Blackhawks games and a lot of other shows and movies. But the idea is we have endless arrays of channels of content. I mean, Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Max, Apple TV. Must be 400,000 things to choose from. And guess what we choose? We can't choose anything. Too many choices. Back in the day, when we didn't need to worry about mindfulness because all we had was vacant space, there was like the ABC movie of the night or of the week. It was the week. There was like 3 TV shows on Friday night, and then a test pattern came on. Literally, they stopped broadcasting. And so the point is not to sound like that old guy Spence was talking about it. I'm saying, let's today talk about how you can make money in a world where WordPress has an infinite array of free or inexpensive solutions. Because one of the things that I'm doing this year, and the wheels are in motion, you guys are all going to participate in this, is that in addition to simplifying the stack of complex things that you can do, like using LaunchKit WP Marketing Hub, there's one-time deals, there's one-time services, there's things that you could go out and do today for people you already know or people you just meet. It's so ridiculously simple, and here's why. Going back to the dad talking about the paper route with his kid, or me talking about with my oldest son who plays semi-pro soccer but isn't as focused on his career aspirations financially as his brothers maybe. You just need to be one step ahead of somebody in your immediate vicinity, whether it's in an online forum or a group or a professional association, or it could be a friend of a friend. It could be your doctor's office, your veterinarian's office, the supermarket. You are in a world of infinite people for whom today we can all communicate instantaneously. I mean, again, I'm going back to my first business was putting flyers on car windshields at the mall. But you guys, all of us, can instantly find human beings across the planet and communicate with them and do one thing for them. That typically involves looking for things that are like toilet paper on their shoe, things that they could be doing, should be doing, need to be doing in order to pursue their personal or professional online presence, communication, sales, and whatnot. So let's break down what that means in a simpler way. Could be basically some way for them to collect emails from prospective clients or customers, or from somebody even for a charitable. Jamie and I were discussing yesterday, like his motives don't seem to be as interested in the mechanics of the sales funnel as mine. He's more interested in design, but we both agreed that even a charitable thing, a parents club, a hockey club, a gymnastics team, school event, those are all things that can be simplified and somewhere somehow is willing to pay a small but reasonable amount from $100 to $300 immediately for you to solve that. I like to call these little acorns laying on the side of the road, because basically that's what they are. You don't have to make them your full-time business, but they kind of, you pick them up and you can plant them somewhere else and they grow into big trees later, okay? So in the same way that a paper route or shoveling snow on a snowy day was not a career for us in the 70s, it was more a road to somewhere else, learning to flip. Good morning, Alex. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. The same way that flipping burgers was not my future aspirations for a career, but taught me a whole heck of a lot about how to manage my time, how to schedule my hours so I got that free big meal instead of the little meal, aspiring to get to, and I eventually did get to the fry machine and so forth. Good morning, Chris. Thank you guys for all joining me. So the idea is, today I want to go and a couple of you guys joining, we're mixing old school concepts of singular ideas that can be done with the same stack of stuff that you already have available to you because you're LaunchKit members, or you can even use stuff that for the most part is a one-time purchase or free. And the reason I'm bringing a lot of this up also is not just for the motivation and the mindset, but because of the fact that we just get so overwhelmed, like with the TV example. There's an infinite number of shows on, so I guess I'll just go for a walk. Versus there was one movie on, we all know what we're going to watch. Okay. All right. So this is the example I'm going to start with, but I also feel I want to play something for you because I want to tie this into personal motivation. You guys know, because I talk about a lot, my back schmack and all the rest of the stuff, and I'm 57 and da, da, da. And now there's two ways you can go through life. Glass half full, glass half empty. If you believe as I do, and I'm not here to preach to anybody, we're all on a mission to do something with the time that we got. And at the end, whatever there may be, I personally am under the impression that we're our own best and first critics of what we did with that time, right? So as long as you're here and you're not in such a bad shape that you literally can't deal with the pain, I know what that's like, you basically can choose to I'm going to go out like Rocky, or I'm going to feel sorry for myself. And by the way, I am totally free to admit I keep journals of all my stuff, because there are moments, happened a couple of days ago, where I wake up and I feel like Rocky at the end of Rocky 1, and I took about a half hour to cry, just cry. It was just pent up energy, too much pain, too much struggle, too much 11, 12 years of personal struggles. But you know what I got at the end of that? I got it out of my system. And then I want to share with you, I picked up my glass half full mindset, because good morning, Sharif. Because I'm going to put this on in a second too, because after I got the emotional energy out, I thought about it. I'm like, nobody's going to give me a handout. The world isn't here to be easy for me. I somehow or another believe I decided to be here, and I'm going to make the most of it. So there's a couple clips, like Rocky clips, that I sometimes think about, because as an older person and somebody who's got like life challenges, I feel like each of us have these. And when it comes to making money or how to do things, I'm suggesting that this is the mindset you can have. Glass half full, glass half empty. But if you take the glass half full, you don't have to start with the home run. You can start with just get up and take another punch and keep going, because the success you have could be just like inches away. Let me play this clip. I hope this plays. I don't know. If not, I'll give you the link, but I'm going to go full screen on this. This is just like 2 seconds of this clip. I'll probably get delisted on. Right. So I'm not quite Sylvester Stallone, but that I know there's no sound on the clip, so I'm going to I'll give you guys the link. The words hopefully came through on the screen, but the basic idea, and again, it's a little dramatic, but for me, it really helped me get over this moment, was you're going to have these days. I have these days more than often, more than I used to as of late, but it's not because of my lack of business skill. It's not because of my lack of being happy or having friends or family or any of that stuff. It's because as a human being, that's the process. The thing that you should be deciding on when you're thinking about making money is that other people have the same problems. And each of us as human beings can just do one little thing to help somebody else out. You guys have all been amazing help to me personally. I could do this. I could do my, I like this. Sharif's comment, technology was always a distraction, sometimes paralyzed me. I forget how to stay focused. Right, we're going to talk about focus in a second too. But you guys have been amazing to me, and my clients have been amazing to me, because working on solving your problems, working on helping you succeed has been something that's allowed me to stop thinking so much about myself and my personal struggles. At the moment, they are just struggles on the road to a greater thing. And these too shall pass. But if you think about it, the people you're able to help, the people for whom you're able to sell stuff, they just have one little thing that's been bugging them like crazy, and it's ruining their day. And it could be because they're struggling with their own personal finances or their personal health or with their personal relationships or their business or whatever. But you being there to help might be just the ticket for them. And you can't imagine how simple it can be by just doing that one little thing for them. It might be setting up we'll talk about today, setting up something like a simple way for them to sell their own products or services, or taking on a lead. Stuff that you now have access to because I'm sharing it with you. Good morning, Nigel. No sound on the clip. Yeah, I pasted, and here's the link in case you guys are looking for that Rocky clip, or just type in Rocky. It ain't how hard you hit. And I want to just comment one thing on Sharif's comment. Thank you for joining us, by the way. We overthink. So Donna's here this morning. I'm sure somewhere lurking in the background. We also have Ann, hopefully, maybe Dr. Krieger is here as well. You're all guilty, as am I, of overcomplicating things, right? Because that's where WP Launchify's origin story comes in, which is the shiny balls syndrome, right? Everything looks good. If one ingredient would be great for that recipe, let's pour everything in there. Or let's, create a Frankenstein monster of attaching A to B to C to D to E. And by the way, yesterday I had a great call with the gentleman, Andrew, who was a perfect example of this. What a fun call. We talked for over an hour, and he was like living the dream. First of all, he had a great screenshot of him in the cockpit of a Star Wars fighter with like the Mandalorian's little guy in the background. But we talked for an hour about how easy it is to overcomplicate things. You need somebody to hold a mirror up to you. And that's what I like to do as well. Donna says, keep the Rocky theme song on your phone and click play. Exactly. See, the thing is, I'm getting a little verklempt. It's not good in life, in my opinion, my experience, to have everything going your way. I was very lucky when I was younger because for the most part, until my late 20s, early 30s, probably, I didn't have any real bad string of luck. I had a few problems here and there, but like nothing that was a big one. The 30s are a bitch, especially get married, have kids. And that's when I started to realize that you need strategies personally to allow you to do the things like we need to do as human beings, right? The hero's journey is an up and down journey. It is not a, let me take this off. It is not a like, whoa, up to the right. It's a hero's journey. And that's why you see in the business world, really big celebrities, the Elon Musks and you see people imploding all the time. They're going off the choo-choo tracks because here's why. And by the way, Ann is here. Hello, good morning. Ann is not only the overcomplicator, but she's also, I think, high fives to Ann because she's recognized she has a problem and she's on her 12th step. I've got her with a chip of recuperating. But imagine a situation for yourself or the people who might be your customers. If here's the movie script, here's the Hollywood play. You're born and everything's perfect. You have every need ever met, every financial whim ever met. Everybody you meet is nice to you. Everything you ever wanted is given to you. You go through your entire life without illness, without pain, without struggle, without suffering, without misery, without loneliness, without any of the things that make us human beings. And you live every day like better than the last. It's perfect. You live to 100 years old and you die a peaceful death with everybody you love around you. Wow, what a boring movie that's going to be. What a play that's never going to get anybody to come look at it or watch it. Why? Because as human beings, as physical living creatures, we need the struggle. We need the human experience. We need the hero's journey to make us who we are. And if somebody gets too much too soon or in too much quantity, here's the problem. You've got nothing left to look forward to. You've got nothing left to give meaning to your existence. The struggle is what gives us meaning. And if you recognize that, but accept, as I'm suggesting, that you can simplify things, you can offer both for your clients and prospects, as well as for your own mental health and financial health. You can offer solutions that adapt to what you're capable of doing. So for example, with me at the good morning, Ann. So for me at the moment, I miss the fact that, my walks and my bikes were a big part of my life. On the other hand, it's really crappy out. And yes, I spend some mornings in so much pain and in agony. I cry for half an hour and I think about what a struggle it's been. But then I get out of that and I kick ass the rest of the day and take what I got to take with the pharmaceuticals or TENS machines or hot and cold baths or whatever it takes, and plan for what the next step is. The next step are two things. Number one, making myself useful for yourself and others so that I spend the day doing things that will make more money so I can pay for, I'm going down to Florida the third week of February. I'm going to pay for a third surgery or revision surgery. Hopefully get the whatever is bugging my nerves, because that's what it is, off my nerves. But you see, that's not an end, because I know I'm old enough to know when the day comes, and hopefully, knock on wood, it's soon, that this back thing is done. Next, it'll be my eyes or my ears or my, something else on this 1966 Chevy is going to break. So I'm not expecting the rest of my life to be perfect. It's going to be a series of ups and downs. But the one sustaining thing is, and then we're going to get to this, is having a habit of accepting the hero's journey, making things simpler as I get older, because I'm not only wiser, but I can't waste the time. And I've been a millionaire. I've been bankrupt. I've been everything in between. There's no benefit to, winning the world. We can see that. Look at the Elon Musks and the Jeff Bezoses and all the rest of it. Even look at nice billionaires like Warren Buffett. He's like 1,000 years old. And Charlie Munger just passed away. Really nice human beings. Warren Buffett's worth $77 billion. He dresses the same. He's in the same house. He eats McDonald's. Like, once your needs are met, you can spend your life helping people having good relationships. And let's, with that, jump off, because I'm going to turn this into a practical tutorial. But I needed to give you guys the background of, I want to explain something too. You guys are, as part of my audience, blessed, because I like to think you've got access to the software bundle as part of your launch kit, which is not necessary for what I'm going to talk about today, but it's part of the conversation. Before I started doing WP Launch Kit, we had all these other solutions where I would go out and I would find one type of a business owner, like a yoga teacher, randomly on the internet. And I basically did the early version of this, where I would show my folks in my 1WD audience how to go and approach them and suggest that they have toilet paper on their shoe. Let me explain to you how that works. Thank you very much, Alex. You are a wonderful human being, and I appreciate your nice words are always appreciated. Thank you very much. And it makes me feel better to share my own story, believe it or not. So thank you for being here. So I would do this. I just go to Google. And by the way, this is still applicable. And I would say, yoga instructor, I don't know, Bucktown, Chicago. Pick a geographic area. It makes no difference. I'm not sure why. This is interesting. Let's put it on Maps view. Okay. So you go to any geographic area, and you can see this is just wonderful. There's these studios, right? So there's a couple sponsored ones, of course, Zen Yoga, Shy Yoga Shack. And what I would do is I would look for either a studio or a teacher. And then I would see, and again, this is a couple of years ago, so there wasn't so much social media, but I would go see if they had a website. I would go see what the website was like. I know this is sounding really mundane, but remember, kids are still working at McDonald's and shoveling snow and doing paperback. If in those days they didn't have a reasonable website, or if I looked at their website and I didn't see the things that was necessary, like I'm pretending I'm a customer. Do they have, like, this site has a good one. Do they have a class schedule? Do they have a way for me to submit questions? Do they, like, this site's got it all. But just imagine if I picked one that didn't have it. I would go through and I would demonstrate, here's the things that you can look for with a business, yoga instructor or whatever. Here's the things that might be what I'll call toilet paper on the shoe. In other words, what are things that a business that you have some experience with need in order to succeed? Do they have a way to take in new prospects? Do they have a way to do email communication? Can they sell their products or services instantly? Do they have some social media? Do they have a reasonable one-page website? Just mundane stuff that you guys are already champs about. You can just go and simply search on Google. But today you can also go all over social media, Facebook groups, Instagram, YouTube. You can even just look inside of like local business directories. Here in my hometown outside the city of Chicago, we've got these things that are published of like yellow page level. Okay. It doesn't matter. Find people who are in the niche that you're interested in doing. Like, I'll use Anne as an example because it's so easy. She's into nutrition. So Nutritionify, right? She's got people who are coming out of nutrition school. I'm not sure if Dallas is here this morning, but Dallas is an accordion teacher. We have people who could be accordion teachers. We have other people that have other kinds of things like everything from fitness to language skills to new age things to whatever. They all need basic stuff. Okay, so with that in mind and this previous success, let me take you now back to, we have got a basic website here that you can start and demonstrate for free. So I'm going to take you on step one. Today, there are infinite tools for launching a free website. One of them is from a colleague of mine, Adam Presser and Sujay Pawar. I used to work directly with those guys, but you can do this on your own too by using your own site. But this is how easy it is. Let me turn on my bookmarks here. So there is a website they've created, and you can just, it's called ZipWP, but you can just use it for demo purposes. So all you need to do is go to try.new, right? So I'll type it in here. Try.new. And I'm going to tell you why this is going to be helpful. I'm going to paste this in so you guys have this as well. It launches a brand new WordPress site for free for 24 hours. And it's not the best in the world, but it's fully capable. And the reason this is relevant is because you can then go and have a live demonstration that doesn't cost you anything. And you can do things on the fly when you have what essentially is going to be a conversation with a real human being. So let's assume like you find somebody in your niche through a couples club or a parents thing or a soccer team or through, whatever your relationship is, that students coming out of a nutrition college. You can demonstrate the following things. You see here that this just launched a brand new website. It costs me nothing. And we don't even have to worry about all the other launch kit stuff, because today, this is the singular solution. This is the flippin' burgers solution. This is the Deluna paper route solution of how to make $100 to $300. Okay. So what I've done here, just to save a little time, is I launched one this morning and I put on the free WooCommerce plugin. I put in launch flows. I put in the free Fluent SMTP, free Fluent CRM. And I didn't set up any of the normal stuff of a full launch kit. We don't need it. Here's why. Idea number one, which, by the way, we are going to be selling. Chris is going to be participating with me on this, but we are going to be selling this. I've discussed this with several of you, including Ann. We're going to be selling this into a larger existing audience of people who are not interested in anything to do with WordPress. They are not interested in marketing automation or complex things. They have one pain point. One, they need a way to take money quickly from their customers or clients, their co-parents, their people that have kids on the same soccer team. And it's really difficult to manage that if you're using Venmo or PayPal or this or that, because everybody's a lunatic. And they want a way to be able to promote that link in an email or in a video or in a YouTube or, in a Facebook or in a Twitter post. So here's what we're gonna do. Idea number one, guaranteed, proven to make money. Instant way to give somebody a payment link, one-timer subscription. And I'm going to do this in under 3 minutes live without a net. And it does not matter at all that there's anything on the website. In fact, the website can be completely blank other than just make a home page that has your logo on it, or their logo on it, because nobody is going to need to go to the website. By the way, while I'm doing that, let me show you what I would do for the logo. I would just get a free account at Canva. And let's make up a client here. So we're talking about like yoga, right? So just type yoga studio logo, or maybe they already have one. It doesn't matter. But if they don't, look, Canva is going to give you 8 trillion amazing free logos that you could just literally go, okay, I'm going to take this, customize this. I'm going to change the name to whatever the name of this person is. Let's say this person is Neil Diamond. I am, I said. Okay, Neil Diamond Yoga Studio. Neil Diamond Yoga Studio. So why are you doing this? Because Neil is too busy on tour and can't be bothered with making this logo. He has no skills. You know about Canva. It's free. Download that. Now, in this free website, before you have your call with Neil, you're going to impress the hell out of him because you can simply make a brand new page for free in about 10 seconds. And all you have to do is, we need no patterns. You could literally just put this in here. I'm being very, vague because it's not necessary to get crazy, but just add the image and that's it. Okay. So you can do it at the top, at the logo, you can put it in the middle of the page. Doesn't really much matter. All the point I'm saying is that if somebody came to this site, they would just see this and this alone because there's nothing else you're using the site for. Okay. So now I've got a logo. Now I've got a home page. And if you've never done it before, simply for your demos, you can just go ahead and set that page as the home using this link here, reading. Okay. So static home page. It's this. And I gave it no title. I probably could give it a title. That's it. Set your permalinks if it's necessary, and you're done. Okay. So now I've got this site. Took me 2 seconds to set up. Neil Diamond Yoga. Nobody's ever going to see it. What we really want for Neil is we want to go right on over, and for demonstration purposes, we want to turn on those plugins, starting with WooCommerce. Okay. And we'll just turn them all on. It doesn't matter. And we're going to offer a simple product, one-time purchase that with launch flows and everything else will allow us to give Neil an ability to get paid. Now you'll notice I haven't set up anything for WooCommerce and so on and so forth. If I want, I could go ahead and do that. It's not even really necessary because all we want to make sure is that we've got a way to send the product to a checkout, right? So if we go over here, let's just make sure that the pages are there. WooCommerce, as fast as that, you notice the setup, the cart, the checkout, it's all there. I don't have to do anything. I just have to go right to making a new product, add new, and I can show this to Neil. So let's count the time and the steps for this because it's so ridiculous. Let's call this Pay Neil. I'll make it virtual and downloadable if I want. I can set it to either 0 and use one of the launch flows tools, or let's just say the base amount is $100. Okay. If I want, I could do more and make this a recurring subscription, but right now this is just a one-time payment. Okay. Because that's all Neil needs. With launch flows, I just type in here that says it goes to the checkout page. And if we want, we can create a custom thank you, or I can send people to my account. Makes no difference. All we know is that somebody's going to be able to go to this product and pay Neil. Now, here's the neat thing. Let's add one last thing. Let's just add an image to this because we can, by the way, we can upload the Neil Diamond logo. Okay, so I am done. That's it. You can now show Neil. Sure, we're going to connect ultimately the real Stripe key and so forth, but you can show Neil that essentially now there's a way for Neil to have a link to a product. If you go to product with launch flows, we got this direct to checkout link. This will take the $100 product and wherever Neil wants to use it. I'm going to go live here. In an email, posting on YouTube, in LinkedIn, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, put it on a billboard, make it into a QR code. This is a link, or in Canva to make a beautiful website. This link instantly goes to Neil's private store where the money goes to Neil. That's it. That's the Flipping Burgers idea. Neil would otherwise have to go and deal with so many complications, but you're going to spoon feed this to him in those 3 minutes. Now, what would he go to? He'd go to something like a Gumroad maybe, and Gumroad is going to charge him 10%. Somewhere at the bottom of here, it says, I can't, pricing, it's 10%. What if Neil sells a lot of stuff? He sells $1 million. Gumroad's going to charge him $100 grand. That's pretty crazy. You can sell to him, hey, Neil, I appreciate the effort. but I'm not taking 10%. It's all your money. I need $300 to set this up. By the way, Neil, if you need it hosted, here's where you're going to host it. Once this thing is set up and demonstrated to Neil, all you got to do is then go over to, for this, super duper cheap, but amazing included, Hostinger. I feel like I'm back in 1999 now. $2.49 a month. But you know what they give here for this kind of solution? Neil can pay once a year $35. He's going to get a domain. He's going to get email. He's going to get all of the support from Hostinger. And he's going to have you in a relationship. That's what you're selling. You're selling the relationship of helping Neil get off the bed, wipe his tears off, just like I would do for myself. Let him know you are there for him. And depending on which package he picks, right? Even if he goes just here for 12 months, 1 year, the total cost is going to be extremely inexpensive. I think it's $35.88 for Neil, plus giving you $300. And you now have given him something that not only can he collect money, but he can do all these amazing fun things. So for example, when we go to this product, if I take this link and I put it inside of a Canva website on a button, it's going to throw that product right to checkout. Boom, he's ready to take money. Watch how cool this is, though. If I go back and let's, even without customizing this with all the launch flows capability, if I just remove this item, I don't know if you can see this, but I can customize this link with the launch flows plugin. And instead of saying add to cart, and that's it, I could say, and donation equals 1,200. Watch what happens just by changing the URL. I'll give this to you guys. You can play with this, by the way. Here's the link here. Just by adding that into the URL string, watch what happens. Instead of a product for $100, that product is pay Neil $1,200. Holy crap. Did you guys catch what I just did here? I installed essentially 2 plugins. This is just WooCommerce and Launch Flows right now. I'm not even using subscriptions. I'm not using the other stuff. Launch Flows, WooCommerce, and I'm able to give a customer a full ability to create one product that can take any amount of money anywhere just by changing the link. Now, what is Neil going to do with that? Well, you're going to mosey Neil back over to Canva, and you're going to go, hey, Neil, when you're back from tour, you can make your own website pages. Maybe not talking like Tony Soprano like me. Here, watch. Website sales pages. Just type into Canva. There's 8 trillion free things here. Again, you can do this on the website for him too, because once you move this website, you could do it with Gutenberg. Of course you can. We're at the flipping burgers though, right? So let's just pick something that looks super sexy here. Neil might want to put together his own product page and have a fun weekend. You're going to make Neil feel better, empowering him to understand he can do it himself. So right over here where it says get started, you're going to say buy now and show him how this works. And then you're going to, like I've done this before, you're going to click here, click on add link. You paste in that link, done. And you're going to show Neil that he can now publish his website. He can change the picture and all the rest, right? So you go over here to website, convert to website, and now Neil, without having to learn Gutenberg, can do a free domain and add whatever this is Neil Diamond Yoga. So let's change it to Neil Diamond Yoga. Done. Now, Neil, thanks to your help, by the way, because we're all here to help each other. We really are. Now, Neil has not only a product link that he can send anybody anywhere for any amount, but look, he's got an actual website fully functional that has a buy now button that does what? It sends somebody to pay whatever amount he puts on the button, right? Now there's 2 $1,200 products in. Okay. Idea number 1. Find somebody you know that is missing a basic need of selling something or collecting money. This could be people in a bridge club. It could be people who carpool kids. It could be soccer moms or dads. It could be professional colleagues. It could be people like Anne's clients. I don't think she minds. Hopefully, Anne, tell me if you mind me bragging about you too much. Anne's clients who are buying Nutritify pages. They're going to have their own page. This is not for $47, including the ability to take money. Anne is going to be, I'm quite sure of it, we've discussed it, she's going to be selling the ability for them to not only book a call for free, but to also pay for a session by using this very same method. Now, I want to also tell you something, because this is, I'm going to share like the multiplier effect. Some of the best businesses that I've ever created on my own, and some of the best ones I've seen today, take this crazy array of complex tools that are out there and they simplify it down to the base element. So for example, I just showed you Canva. I can't tell you how much I love Canva, but you know what I love better? I love if you go to Etsy, which is a creator marketplace, and you type in templates for Canva. Why? Because there are literally people that there are people making, we could say business templates, real estate templates. Let's type it properly. There you go. There are literally people making a fortune selling gorgeous templates for Canva from anywhere from $6 to $120. You can browse and browse and browse and you see all these crazy stuff. But the point is, somebody can make a living here, social media templates and coaching for Canva, $12. They've sold 485. So that's like $500 times 10. That's like a quick $5,000. I've seen people on here who have $20 for $1,500. I've seen somebody making $100,000. But I'm saying this is something you could literally do what I just did now and make something that works for your niche. And now you've also got a product, not a service, because when you create the template that the two little tchotchkes I just showed you work together with, and you put it together in a simple page of your own making with the same tools, guess what? You are now basically your own evil genius. Your Spence showed you how to be Spence and do the kind of things that other people are doing. And I'm not so smart here. I've been doing this since I was a kid. So the secondary, tertiary things that you can make from giving people this ability are to take it from an idea to a one-to-one person service, to a one to do it a few people service, to turn it into a product that has all the tchotchkes with it. And boom, you're rocking and rolling. Let's take it to the next level. Okay, so now Neil says, or maybe it's not Neil now. Now let me close off a couple things. Now maybe it's somebody else who doesn't necessarily need to sell stuff, but what they do want is to communicate with people. I've had this conversation so often. In fact, I had it with a very lovely person yesterday who's maybe going to join us in the future, who has a business of teaching people English business skills, English language skills. She's very smart, had a great business. She was looking to improve how to get the online course business moving as fast as the personal skills. And one of the things is, I said, do you have a list? And she said, like, I think she knew what I was asking. I mean, that was the same thing that happened to me in that yoga teacher example. I spent a month just literally going around and sending personal emails asking these yoga teachers like, hey, I really like what you're doing, but why don't you have this? Or where's that? Would you be interested? I'm doing some research on this. Would you be interested in having a call with me so I can tell you what I mean? And 3 out of 7, 3 out of 10, I mean, like a third, maybe 3 or 4 out of 10 were like, sure, because they realized like they didn't know certain things. The point is, they needed a list, because I've said to you guys so many times in the past, like if you have a business in the old days, there was a fishbowl on the counter. People were asked to put their business card in there so that the store owner knew who would come and go on. So the store owner would say, like, we're doing a raffle to give away a hockey stick or a free meal or whatever they offer. Put your business card in to win. That's the early days of a list. Now we're much more easily accomplishing that using tools that we've got for free here. So you guys have the full premium version, but I just want you to understand that you can sell things to your client that don't cost them any money either, because I'm offering these. Oh, I didn't say the full sentence. I'm working together, and it'll soon be announced officially. I'm working together with some other larger partners and creating one-time purchase packages. The very same thing that I mentioned. They will just take one or two of these things, like I'm showing you, and putting them in the very same package, and I'm going to be offering them for sale for $199 one time. Why? Because I'm not offering personal service with that. I'm just offering the solution along with a simple 5-minute guide. Because that's all people need, right? Like once you buy the Ginsu knife set, you need the little video that shows you how to do it, but you don't need a lifetime of support on how to chop your food. You just need the basic tools and the ownership of those, along with a little help. So let's go back to our plugins here, because the next way to make money is through lists. Nobody knows how to make a list or what to do with it, but keep in mind that once they get their list, that's when they're going to ask you for more advice of what else I can do with my list, right? Today, I'm just collecting names in the fishbowl, but then what the hell do I do with the names? You are now, because you're with me, you're my friend, you are now going to be the expert in all the things you can do with the list. Marketing automation, email follow-up, all the stuff that has to do with both the website, the email, the content, the creation, the monetization, the sales funnels, all the things they can do with the human relationship using the base requirement, which is, are they on the list? And yesterday when I had my video with Jamie Marsland at PudaPress, he's been growing his YouTube audience. He said he has over 20,000 now. And one of the things that he's been working on, which I asked him about, is making sure he offers things for free that get people out of YouTube to give him their email, because only by getting them onto his email list does he truly have a relationship with them. All right, so let's go over here, and you notice I put in the free Fluent SMTP plugin, and I've got the Fluent CRM. We don't really need to use that one. We can also add one other free one. I'm going to show you the basics of that, but I'm going to show you instead. Let's just go with Fluent Forms, which would be more relevant. So here, contact form plugin. So free versions of the Fluent stuff is enough for you to give people the basic, I call it the checkout aisle taste. It's the chocolate bar, the AA batteries, the People magazine. Hey, what's Bruce Willis doing? By the way, I feel really bad because I watched Die Hard, the original one, and Bruce Willis has been such just a wonderful human being, it seems, even with all of his marital and family dramas. Everybody seems to have worked out in the end, but like, that's just a great example of somebody, it just, life doesn't seem fair, right? Like such a vocal and amazing, humorous person having aphasia, but his family loves him and he's going to do what he's going to do, right? He's going to keep kicking. So I was just reading about that, speaking of People magazine. So now we have Fluent Forms, Fluent CRM, and Fluent SMTP. Now the SMTP you don't have to worry about, because for right now, all that's going to do is that gives us the ability to set up a mail trap. So you can show to Neil Diamond, whomever, what's going on. And the reason is, like, let's just put in other SMTP, and you can just, you don't need to put anything in here, literally. I mean, maybe just a placeholder. So let's just put in your name at yourpassword.com. And this is from Neil Diamond. Okay. And then the host, just put any, you can put anything just to smtp.gmail.com. And you can see here, there's ports numbers, just do 465. This will not work, but it doesn't matter. And the username could be your name at yourpassword.com, and the SMTP password for your password. None of this is going to work. All we're doing is setting a placeholder. Why? Because you're going to check this little tchotchke right here, this little checkbox, and save it. Because now you've got a mail trap. So you can demonstrate to Neil that, look at all these things that are going to happen with your list, whether it's from Fluent Forms or otherwise. And you can do a test here to see. It will make you think a test went out, but it really just sent it to the mail trap, right? So simple, so fast. You want to get the relationship started and get Neil's money so that you can actually, in your documentation, show here's how to add your Gmail real name and user account. Okay, so now we've got a way to show that the mail's going on. All that has to happen is go to Fluent Forms. new form. And you can do this live or you can do this with Neil. You can just use one of the pre-made templates that are amazing right off the bat for whatever might be interesting for Neil. So for example, remember the fishbowl, subscribe for our latest updates or subscribe to our newsletter. Just use this as the starting point. Just change a few things for Neil. Or if you want, you could see you have input fields, right? So you could use Neil's logo at the top. Let's see, probably under advanced fields. Let me just do it easy. I'll just type image. We don't need image upload. Let's put, I'm looking for something that would be useful. Simple text there. Let's do custom HTML. That's fine. You don't have to do this because this is like maybe more complicated, but you can just do this and you can add the logo at the top, or you can just do it through the WYSIWYG text editor. I don't want you guys to feel that this is too complicated though. So let's just do it like this. You could just use your WYSIWYG text editor. And in here, you know, you can copy and paste the URL of an image or of anything else you wanted. And you guys all know how to do that. So let's just say subscribe to Neil's newsletter. Save the form. And now we can do the settings and integration. So that's where you can demonstrate to Neil, look, when people put their card in a fishbowl, we can send them either a direct message on the screen, or we could send them to a page on the website, or we could send them to, I bet you guessed, we could send them to a beautiful page on Canva that Neil, while he's on his tour bus, could just customize real quick, which gives him a great sense of control. So whether it's a local page in WordPress or to a custom URL page, like quite literally, just do as I just showed you, create a Canva page, post it as a website URL, take that URL, paste it in here. Let's just send them to WP Launchify instead. Okay, and you can even pass along information about the first name and last name email so that the person doesn't have to type it twice. Now, just that alone is enough. We're ready to either embed this on the site, or, you know, you can use the other features in here that are advanced. We don't need to do this today, but like double opt-in and, you know, multiple confirmations or so forth. But all they need is just the basics. Okay. And you'll notice here, we could add the person into the CRM. Now, that's the third thing I'm going to talk about in a second. But if you did that, that means that everybody who filled out the form will be added to the CRM. I've not configured that yet, so I'll come back to that in a second. But the basic idea is it's not just catching the email and putting it on, you know, an entry list. It's like they're captured and they're put into Neil's. I can do stuff with this. Okay. All right. So let's just see what we can do with this. We can actually take this and look at the form. Looks great. If we want, we can put it on a page, right? We can take the clipboard and we go back over here and we can just add a beautiful new page, or we could do it on the home page that says, you know, this is my fishbowl. Neil, join Neil's newsletter. And so here we can either do it one of two ways. If we type Fluent, you'll notice this is the easiest way. Just choose the form, right? And that's that. If you want, you can do it via shortcode, which doesn't make it any easier, but it's possible. And you just paste it in like that, and then you can click preview once it's in there. Okay. Either way you do it, let's do it the first way because I think that's the easiest. Fluent. Either way you do it, the point is you're just demonstrating this as super simple. Join Neil. Publish. Okay. Let's actually see how simple that is. So other than me yipping and yapping about it, I've just got to, like, this is I think this is 2024 theme. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. The point is, you could do it via page, or you could do it with Fluent Forms. You can have the thing like I've shown you, the contact form, like 1wd.tv, have I helped? They have this as an option as well, the landing page option. So whichever way you do it doesn't make a difference. Tom Jones tom@jones.com. And this should take Tom to WP Launchify and add him to the entries. There he is at WP Launchify. I love that. And then if we go on back to the website, let's take a look. And let's go here. And we will see inside of Fluent Forms, we now have the entry where just now Tom Jones has joined Neil Diamond's list and he's ready to have something sent to him after. So number 2, and the last one is going to be simple. Number 2 way to make money online with basic things is to enable the power of lists so that somebody who has a business, a club, a personal need, this, that, the other thing, has a way to know who's wanting to interact with them from their social media. Just think about it. I got all these fans. I got 102 whole fans on Instagram. How are they ever going to hear from me without getting on Instagram? They've got to be on my list, like you guys are on my list, so I can keep them informed. But more importantly, for their own selfish reasons, I'm spoon feeding them, Neil Diamond here, a way for Neil to become empowered. And guess who he's going to count on to move from flipping burgers to selling fries to one day being at the counter? You, me. You move yourself up the chain with the little baby acorn that you put in your pocket. You planted a tree with each of these people, and later you come back and it's this gigantic oak and it's got all kinds of things going on that you never imagined. Okay, number 3. We're going to just take it to the next level. So inside of my plugins here, I've got this whole array of just simple stuff. I've got the CRM. Okay. So let's go back and first set up the CRM as simple as this. We have to we need 2 things. We need a basic list that we're just going to create right now. So we go to Fluent CRM settings, and we just literally put in, it's Neil Diamond. And by the way, you can do this with a placeholder name, and Neil will understand when you come back that it's not him. But we've already got a logo, so let's just use Neil's logo. You know, I mean, we could do all of this stuff, right? Let's just skip it for now. Okay, we need one list. Call it main list. We don't need a second list. And then we need 1 or 2 tags. Okay, so we say submitted form. And the second thing is viewed lead magnet. I'll tell you what that means in a second. So just 2 simple tags. And if you don't know what tags are, don't worry about it. I'm going to explain to you right now. So now we've got the Fluent CRM set up. Let's go back and connect that to the form so that when somebody uses Neil Diamond's form, they're going to actually be in his CRM as well. Okay. So we're going to go back over here to Fluent Forms, and we're just real quickly going to change the settings on this to do that integration. Configure integration. Okay. Fluent CRM. We're going to choose the main list. We're going to map just by choosing. This is the email field from the form. And here is the drop down for the first name. I mean, this is really simple. You don't have to be technical at all. Here's the last name. Okay. And then here's the cool thing. We can add one of those tags, submitted form, which means we can track that somebody came into this whole situation because of that. There's all kinds of other stuff we can do here, but we really don't need anything more than that other than to say save fields. So now what's happened is if somebody uses this form, not only are they going to be taken to another page, but they're going to be put into the CRM so that Neil Diamond has things that he can automate to follow up from. And what we can also do is we can, if we wanted, create a new page to give people a reward. This is so simple and so powerful, but this is something that will take you less than 10, 15 minutes. And you can basically charge somebody $300 or more for. They might not get to this third thing from the get-go because it's, it's not as obvious as the payment thing, but it's just this easy. And you can put it on that hosting or site for them without the need for all the rest of the launch kit. So let's just go over here and we'll make real quick a page, a new page. And we're going to say, you're going to get this special video from Neil Diamond, right? And I'm just going to, in this case, I'm going to use my video here. Okay. And here's my lead magnet delivery. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste in YouTube video, and I'm putting in the Spence video, but this could be Neil Diamond. Okay. Publish. Let's take this and we're going to use that in our Fluent form instead of sending them off to WP Launchify. So if we go back and finish this up, we're going to go to the Fluent form. We're going to change this as the destination, newsletter form settings. And here we can go to the page that we just created, right? Which is lead magnet delivery. Now, one last thing that would be super, super cool. If we wanted to, we can also track when somebody viewed the page and did this or clicked a button or whatever. But just understand that, like, you can literally know when somebody sent to a page, when they view a page, when they click. Any of those things is possible. Don't worry about it. We're at burger flipping stage. So now let's test this on our Neil Diamond page. Join Neil. And we'll try somebody else. We'll try, Paul McCartney comes by. Okay, subscribe. Now this should add Paul to the list, give him the tag, add him to the CRM, and send him off to the WP Launchify. So that worked there. Now let's go back over to the site and take a look in the CRM. By the way, all of this that you're doing as a demo could be copied over to the Hostinger with 2 clicks. So you're not wasting your energy when you're demonstrating to people. Let's go to Fluent CRM, and we will now see we have one active contact, Sir Paul McCartney. And now you can demonstrate to your client they have everything under the sun to run a business and follow up, and you do not have to get into it with them. You can hint, look what I can do for you, Sir Paul. Follow up automation. When somebody submits a form or when somebody gets a tag, whatever, something awesome can happen. Like Paul can send out an email, right? So the form was newsletter form, and you can even map the fields like we just did. But the point is that as simple as this, you're showing this individual business owner or very popular musician that they can have a whole system to keep in touch with their fans, keep in touch with the other parents, do everything, including sending custom emails. As simple as that. Now, what have I just shown you? Thank you, by the way. I've shown you a way, 3 really big money-making ways that cost you nothing. Now, nothing is an oxymoron because, yes, launch flows technically would cost you money, but like you can use that an unlimited amount of times because you've already been a launch kit member. Or if you bought launch flows by itself for $5 a month or whatever we're going to do in this new package, you'll have it to use an unlimited number of times on your clients because that's how I roll. You have 3 money-making things that take a person who's just one step behind you, maybe going through their own struggles, but you can have a relationship to help them, and you're moving them forward, and you're saying, look, it doesn't have to be like we're getting married and moving in together. It's just we're going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to show you what I can do to get that toilet paper off your shoe problem out of the way, and you can pay me for this or this or this, or I can even be in a relationship, which is the goal, where you just keep me around and pay me $300 a month or a certain number of hours per month. And I'll just take care of all this stuff for you. So if you don't want that, you could sell it one time with instructions, package it up. If you want the relationship, you could sell the relationship. But this is it. There's not 100 things, just 3. I know I'm at the top of the hour. I want to thank you guys who stuck around. Today was a good audience. I saw we broke through 20-something people today, which was fantastic. I think whenever I talk about the topic of making money, it gets people jazzed up, which I can understand. I had made a mistake. And there's a couple of questions. I had made a mistake. I'm going to come to these questions too, but I had made a mistake when I used to do my earlier businesses in before WordPress and then in WordPress, because you can tell how animated and excited I get when I talk about life, philosophy, entrepreneurship, business. I've been doing it since I'm a kid. It's my purpose. But the thing I recognize is not everybody is wired the same way. So when I say, oh, and I go talk to like 5 new strange yoga teachers, some people are like, whoa, that is not for me. So you don't in today's world have to do that. You can take the same idea and you can just put it out there. Now, I do feel you need to have a personal brand. You need to have your name and face around it, but it doesn't mean you necessarily have to talk. But if you're asking me the truth, like dating and business, who's going to do better? The person who really talks to people and is a real human being, or the person who's nameless, faceless company? I mean, we're in a world of infinite AI. You're competing against, machine learning. The only thing you got is this right here. Okay, so I would say figure out a way to use that. Anne says, as a standalone product, any important software licensing or update issues you should be aware of. Well, here's what's so cool. The thing about WordPress is all the code is open source. It's for you to do anything you want with. I give it to you. I got it from elsewhere, but even the stuff that I write, the code is not what I'm selling. It's all GPL. If you read the GPL, I can tell you, put on my lawyer hat. It's yours to do what you want with. The thing you cannot do is violate anybody's copyright. So just don't go talking about product and brand names of the software you're using. Like if you do something with whatever, the WooCommerce stuff, or don't go pretending or doing anything that could confuse people into thinking that you're WooCommerce associated with WooCommerce, whatever. Just use the code and don't talk. It's like Fight Club. Use the code. Don't talk about the code. The first rule of Launch Kit Club is don't talk about the code. But that's a great question. So no, and updates the same way. The relationship you have with me gives you all the code and curated. It's always updated. That's the point. Like when I talked about the Etsy model, the Canva templates, I'm saying the ecosystem I'm trying to build that will soon be scaled to, I really hope will be thousands of people, not just hundreds of people, is that this is how I feel WordPress should operate. Choosing a path of certain things and doing it a certain way. Like we're building a car that drives off the showroom floor rather than selling parts at the flea market. Great question. And oh, Dr. Krieger is here. Hello, Carrie. Okay, so I want to say thanks to all of you guys. Great questions today. Great support. I appreciate everybody. For some reason, it helps me a lot to talk about my situation, because if I hear myself saying it, and if I say it in public, I have to live by it. I absolutely have my moments. This morning was just one of those days. Like I had a great day yesterday. I had a good day in between before, but it started every day as like a new adventure. However, I am hopeful and optimistic, glass half full, that I've got my comeback fight. And when I do, and I get through this back thing, the big things that I'm launching are set to launch between middle of February and the end of February. So I just think March is going to be killer. And then the weather warms up. We're all making money. We're living in a brave new world of opportunity. I hope you're going to continue to join me. And thank you for your kind words, especially Anne and some other folks who have spent a lot of time on the phone with me. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video, but also look for an email from me, because we're productizing over the weekend this exact idea into something that's going to be sold into an audience of, I'm told, 500,000 to 1 million. And I suspect it'll give me some really good evidence for you guys of what you could do with your own niches, right? So I like to prove the points. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great weekend.